Hey everybody, welcome to Friday Nights with Molly. Molly Stone-Bibb. Avon is Senior Executive Unit Leader. Senior Executive. You know, I always tell people at the beginning of these videos, if this girl here can do it, anybody can do it. So let's talk about today. I haven't had a whole lot of time to watch everybody in their posts on Facebook. But I can tell a lot of good things are happening out there. You know, I watched and saw we have another sister in the group, the Onward group, who has titled to unit leader, Teresa Henton. Congratulations. That is awesome. And I know you're not stopping there, because that's just the first step to get to AUL and get your A on, and then your E on, and then your S on, just like the rest of the seniors that are out there. So great job on that, and great job for your team, you know, because you can't do it without them. They're the ones putting in the orders and, you know, making sure that you have that 5 order count and the $1,200. So that is awesome. And for the other ones who have done it, absolutely wonderful. You know, I've been trying to watch it as closely as I can to at least try to celebrate with you guys on there. I hear sometimes that a lot of you don't get recognition from the places that you should, whether it's a district manager or sometimes even your upline doesn't recognize it. I don't get that personally, but that's okay, because this Avon mama right here, she is recognizing it for you, because I remember how hard it was to do that. Okay, so Friday, you know, I know you've been watching on Facebook, and I told you guys that I was going to do something today that that was actually going to stay with me the rest of my life. That is part of my journey. And you know that there's just no way I can take a step in my journey without involving you guys in it, and at least letting you walk there. Update on the view from the top 2. You know, the book with all those wonderful seniors that are going to be in for part 2, and most of you, I hope you have that first part with Lisa Wilbur, Teresa Paul, you know, Ron DeVos, Carla Lytle, all the rest of them. I have to tell you, there's just so many that are in there that you can get something from everybody. You want to know the secrets of the SCULs and Avon, you need to make sure you get on top of books like this. There hasn't been, we're still trying to gather all the seniors for part 2. You know, I was lucky number 7 when I finally decided to do it. So I'm really excited about that. So once that progresses and we do more, then I will definitely be taking you on that journey with me. But in the meantime, let's get back to Friday's video with Molly, as I said. And said I was going to do something that had probably always wanted to do, but I got to tell you, I had some stipulations. And when I decided I'd like to have this done 2 or 3 years ago, you know, one of my first things was, you know, well, I have to be a senior to do it. And, you know, at that point I had my E on instead of my S, and, you know, my S seemed kind of far away. You know how it is when you're at one level, whether you're looking at your A or you're looking at your E or you're looking at your S. The point is, even if you're sales only, and that's okay, but even when you meet PC, you're like, okay, I made President's Club. And again, sometimes you guys downplay this President's Club thing. You don't understand. You are the best of the best in sales. Do you hear me? If we have 600,000 reps in the United States, and only 10% of you are President's Club. 10% of you. Do you hear that? So 60,000 of you are President's Club, even less are Honor Society, Rose Circle, Inner Circle, Council, the whole 9 yards. I mean, you guys, this isn't to say that you're just President's Club. There is no such thing as that. To say that you are just a unit leader. No, there's no such thing as just a unit leader. And by the way, most unit leaders I know have no want to just to stay at unit leader. They do want to get their A on and become an advanced unit leader, or their E on and become an executive, and that almighty S on and get your senior executive on, because that's where the big money is. That's it. You can make a lot of money with sales, and you can make that money right now that you need selling that Avon, because that's what we all do. We sell great products. But the great thing is when you're thinking about your residual income and things you want to do, getting your S on is huge. And if you're not ready for all that yet, it's okay. Because you know what? When I started, I wasn't ready for it either. You know, I was just loving me selling some Avon. It was awesome. It was easy. So I wanted to do it. So with all the President's Club celebrations that are going to be coming up, I want to say, you know, we had ours just the other day, yesterday, matter of fact, and what a great time. See so many people just get up there and get those awards, just a proof of all the hard work. And I'm looking around the room, and even the ones who may not have taken the big awards home, they were there for the dinner, for the glory, for the celebration, getting their gifts for doing it. And, you know, I think that Avon and everybody should make even a bigger deal about it, because I think it's huge when people make the numbers that they're making. I am just astonished. You know, my team Onward, you guys rocked it. You rocked it this last cycle. I mean, my executive, Linda Staggers, man, that girl cleaned up with 6 freaking awards. Do you hear me? 6 awards. And I was the proud mama. I was standing up and clapping and hooping and hollering and embarrassing her, and she knew I was going to do it, but she showed up anyways. And it was a good time. It was a good time seeing our sister and brother representatives there, and, you know, my upline, Mary Ann Penn there, and here she's the proud grandma, great-grandma, great-great-grandma. She probably still grating back there, but she's looking at all the handiwork that she's put into this in all these years. And, you know, what great pride to look at your team, and, you know, and if nothing else, even if your team is small, it's okay, because eventually it's going to be bigger. But to look at the group of men and women that we are included in, it is just amazing to me, and it just makes me so proud to be an Avon independent sales representative. Okay, so in all of this, I have to tell you before I reveal what it is that happened with me, or that I finally decided to do. Life-changing for me, yeah, because you know how it is. When you decide to make a step out in your life, I mean, look, guys, sometimes this isn't just about Avon. Sometimes this is about your life. It's about your journey. And you know I'm huge on journey. I am huge on onward, no matter what. I am huge on when things go wrong, when things go right, when things are in the middle and they're just kind of sitting there. It's your journey. And sometimes we're responsible for pushing our journey forward, or maybe drawing back for a second and taking another look at things, and, you know, figuring out, whoa, this isn't quite working for me the way I'm doing it. Maybe I need to readjust something here. And I call all of that your journey, because I don't know anybody in Avon that when they get into it, or any business, but especially our business, that when you get in and you're doing something, that you continue to do the same thing through your whole career in Avon. It just, as your business grows, you learn how to do things better as your business grows, and you make these mistakes, and some people may call them failures, but I truly only believe that you fail when you don't get back up and try again. And there are many of those who do that. And what a shame, because they could be places they never dreamt of, because you don't have this kind of a business and not ever make mistakes. And if you're that hard on yourself that you think you shouldn't, then I'm here to tell you, I got my S on, and I have made plenty of mistakes. And I mean plenty. Don't ask Lee, because he will tell you about all my mistakes I've made. So life is your journey. And Avon is part of it. That's why you're here watching the video. And if you're not a part of Avon, you should be. You should be, okay? I mean, only the coolest are with Avon. Only the people who are truly wanting to make the money are with us, because we are on our way back up to #1 in the world. And I can't wait for that to happen, because I want to do my part. So let's talk about this journey thing. You know, I see the same thing on our Facebook group, and, you know, sometimes more in other groups, where people are having a really hard time and they're having struggles. And what I figure out is because maybe they don't have an upline, or they don't have maybe a district manager who's able to be there for them, or who has been there for them, or, who knows the reason? Sometimes maybe they're just not important enough, or they're not producing enough, and that's ridiculous, because I can't think of one person on my team that is not important enough. Obviously, we work with the top 20 on our teams, the top 20%, let me reiterate that, because we can teach people how to sell like that, teach them how to get customers like that, and that's what we do. I take my team out for those who want to. Some of them never need that. They know who they're going to sell to, where they're going to go. They just need the brochures and need to know how to do the online stuff and everything, and they're ready to go. It's just bam. And I love that, because they already know where they want their business to go, and that's where they're going. But there are others who struggle, and I think that there are others who really need the encouragement, and they need somebody to say, job well done. And some people, if you're like I was in my life, you never really got that. And I get it, because to this day, I still need to hear job well done. What, Molly? You need to hear job well done? But you're a senior, Molly. You have a $1.3 million business. No. I do have a $1.3 million business. And I'd like to tell you that that's what keeps me doing what I do. But it's not. It's not. It's such a great feeling to hear, because I have an upline who does this with me all the time. And I have a wonderful, wonderful husband who is completely supportive of me and everything that I do. And my district manager, Terry Utterback, she's wonderful. She is there for whatever I need. She always hears what I have to say, even if she doesn't agree with me. And look, sometimes she doesn't agree with me, but I have such a great respect for that, because we're very real with each other, and it's a good relationship to have, and she never tries to sabotage me, and I love that. And not everybody's that lucky, but I am one of the lucky ones at this point. I have a DVM who I kind of feel like in the last few years, it's like, every time I turn around, I have a new one of something. But I have Stephen Walker, and, we've really been building a type of partnership. And it's hard when you lose somebody and you're like, man, do I trust them? Do I not trust them? Do they have my best interest at heart? You don't know. So you always have to watch out for you and your team first. I mean, no matter what, rather what's going on with anybody else. It's all about me and my team. But it's nice to hear if somebody thinks that you're doing a good job. And it's nice to hear it from people who count in your life. And sometimes what's crazy is sometimes I wish I would just hear it from the people who have nothing to do with Avon. And I'm sure a lot of you feel that way too. Because sometimes you don't get the respect that you just want, to know that you're trying to do something, you're trying to build something. They don't look at what we're doing sometimes, whether it be family or friends or husbands or wives. They don't look at it that you're trying to build something and it's going to take time. They just see Avon and they think, oh, tubes of lipstick. And they don't see the bigger picture. And they're not going to right away. I'm a little over 9 years in now, and they know what I do. But I think that they still don't get that it's my bread and butter. That's okay if they don't get that. But you just wish sometimes that they would get that this is where your passion lies. This is something you really want to make a go at. This is something that you just want to hear, job well done. And for me, because I'm not always getting that where I really would like to have it in my heart, through a series of messages at my church and things like that, I realized that my purpose isn't to just sit around figuring out whether everybody else thinks that I'm doing a good job. That sometimes it's about just knowing in your heart that when you're reaching out and you're helping people, and sometimes you're listening to them, or you're trying to be supportive to those that, by the way, a lot of people I'm supportive to, I don't make a dime off of. Doesn't mean I can be everybody's upline. Definitely doesn't mean I always agree with what Avon does. But I feel like that through everything I've been through, that I can be the voice of reason sometimes and figure out that we have to try to be as supportive as leaders as we can be. And I believe that although things don't always seem to go our way, and believe me, many times they don't go my way. For all yous that they do, I'm a hater. I'm a hater. If it always goes your way, I'm a hater right now. Just don't let me know that's you and that everything goes okay. Sometimes that happens in the Cinderella world. It's not that way for everybody. And I'm the person who I've realized that it's really good therapy for me to let you guys know what's gone wrong, what's gone right, what's not doing anything. And then trying to say, this is how I found my way. And that's what my videos are about. You know, I would like to tell you that I think my videos are just completely this big inspiration thing all the time to just make you want to go out and do more. And I don't know. You know, many times I've thought, is this really something that I should be doing? When I'm telling reps about my highs and my lows, and a lot of times it's about my lows, is that a good thing to share with you? And I keep being led to do it. I keep being led to share with you that I'm an SCUL, I'm a senior, and I sign people up, and I know that I've done an awesome sign up. I know that what I do works. But sometimes people just don't do things because they choose not to do it. It's not on me. I got to tell you, sometimes it's so frustrating because sometimes you just feel like you can pick it. If somebody's going to be a good one, you think, that person's going to be good. And then they disappoint you, and really we allow ourselves to be disappointed because we're not responsible for how they take that ball and run with it. We just have to make sure we give them everything they need. So if they want to be successful or learn, that they have a really good starting period and that they can contact us and we can be their coach and their trainer. And with enough hard work and enough practice, they can be really, really good at it. And sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you miss something in your own business. Sometimes I get disappointed in myself. And even for what I normally do in my work, sometimes I do feel burnout, like I'm sure any other representative does. Or maybe a lot of people aren't going to be honest about that and say that they'll say life is always wonderful and they love it. Well, I'm here to tell you, sometimes I don't like it. I don't. Sometimes I just want to put it away and say, no Avon, nothing about it, bad day. Maybe it's just a burnout day. What I've realized is those are the times that I do have to listen to what I'm feeling. And sometimes I do have to take 24 hours and leave a message on my phone that says I won't be able to be reached at this number. If it has to do with this or that, please call Avon, but I won't be available. I don't take many days like that because I am responsible for a big team of representatives and a lot of customers. But every now and then when something's talking to you, the great thing about this business is if you're away from it for a day or so, if it falls apart, you're not doing something right. Okay? It should never be that way. You know, I bought into this business because I would have freedoms in more areas than just money. I got into this business because I just wanted to be able to say why and who, and I didn't want somebody telling me what I was worth. That was huge for me. You know the story. All I ever made was minimum wage in my life. And, when that's all you make, sometimes you think that's all you're worth. And then you work really, 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 really hard at something else. And you start making peanuts. But you keep working at it. And then you're not making peanuts, you're making cashews. And then you keep working at it. And then you're not making cashews, you're making macadamia nuts. And we know how expensive they are. It's all the same thing. The more you do, the harder you work at it. Finally, there's something that when I put in 100%, that I can make more money, that I can make more of a difference, that I can show other people how to do the same thing. So I've realized that all this is part of my journey. my journey. I wish I could tell you all what's part of your journey. But I do believe if you're watching this video that I'm supposed to be part of your journey in some way, even if it's watching the girl with, I know for all of you it's the first time. You don't know I have big hair, but I do. But today was a hat day because there was this big experience I had going on, and I couldn't even concentrate on fixing the big hair, okay? Had to wear an Avon hat day, but it's great. Great advertising, gave out some books. They saw the shirt, that, you know, it's all good. You know how that works. If you haven't watched the videos, you're going to find that one. You're going to watch it about advertising. So this is part of it. This is all part of it. You and me taking a moment, trying to figure out what it is that we want. And so this was really going to be a laid-back video that just talks about it's okay to feel how you feel sometimes. Look at your journey. Quit always looking forward sometimes. Sometimes it really is okay to look back when you have to reassure yourself that you're doing better than you were doing maybe 2 or 3 months ago, 2 or 3 years ago. Some people longer than that. So, you know, I went out and, you know, I don't do real well with scared things. Okay? I have to tell y'all the story one day about me bungee jumping, okay? And no, that's not what I did today. That was a one-time experience, too. And that's a funny one, but we're not going to take it up. That's right, I bungee jumped. Somebody done put me out to dry, and yes, I did. Craziest experience of my life. But I did do that. But I... you know, you all have been wondering, what is it, Molly? What did you do? What is it that was going to make an impact? Well, I wanted to tackle something that scared me. I've tackled the haunted houses, and, you know, this is a personal thing for me, so this isn't a huge Avon thing for me, but it's huge because in my own way I brought Avon into it. It's twice as huge because I'm sitting here on the video sharing it with you. So, I guess you could call it another form of advertising, in a sense. I'm putting the warning out there saying I am not recommending for everybody to do this. I am saying that for me it was something that I always said, when I make SEUL, I'm going to do this. And before I turned 50, I wanted to do it. And if you all have been watching my Facebook entries, you know that when Avon sends me on that earned trip, Lee and I, to Hawaii in June, that on June 21st, I will be celebrating my 50th birthday. And most people, when 50 comes along, I've heard the stories. I've have many people in my life who are in their 50s now, and none of them that I can think of ever looked forward to that age because it was that halfway mark in their book. But I have to tell you something. 50's looking pretty damn good for me. Yeah, it is. I am better at 50 now than I ever was at 20. And I'm surely better than I was at 30. And the start of my real journey, where suddenly something I did could make a difference, started very early in my 40s. And I've just never stopped since then. And all of that has to do in some form or fashion with Avon products. Avon products has given me a chance to find out who I really am and where I can make a difference in life. And so what I did today at, I believe it started about 2:45, is I went out. So for all of you who guessed it, congratulations, there was a couple of you. And I went out and I had my very first tattoo done. Yeah. Very first tattoo. Now, that may not be huge for a lot of people, but it was huge for me because I love firsts. They scare me, so I challenge myself. You know, my son has them. My daughter-in-law has them. They have been on me. My niece has them. My nieces have them, excuse me. And, they always want Molly Mom to be hip just like them. And I was like, guys, I can't be doing that. That stuff hurt. I know I did childbirth surgeries, all that stuff, but I just don't think I can. And then I got real brave one time and said, well, if I ever get my S on and make senior, I will then. Lord have mercy, when I made senior last year, that's all I've heard for a year. But then my thing was, I want to make sure I keep it. So many people grab senior executive and then they lose it. So I want to make sure that I stay a senior, and I didn't really. The other thing was too, is when you get a tattoo, you have to know what you want. And because I never really saw myself actually getting it, I didn't know. And in a sense, I'm a little bit glad that I didn't know that, because I have to tell you, I am so psyched about this tattoo. I am so psyched because I want people to ask me about it. When they see it, I want them to go, what is that? And when those of you who I know I am going to meet, because I know that Avon is going to get back to having conferences and things like that where we can all get together, or when you get your S on and you start going on these trips, or you are council sales or higher, then you're not going to miss an Avon trip with me ever. And then you'll be able to see, Molly, I want to see this up close. I want to see what you did. And I'm going to share pictures tonight. I will tell you that I had this tattoo done on my foot. So for all you tattoo people, I found out after the tattoo was done that the worst possible place you could get a tattoo, if you are a tattoo virgin like I was, is your foot. I have to tell you, it was painful. It was rudely painful. I was mean to Lee. I said, don't talk to me. It hurts. But when I think about it, I could really take that experience and say, man, this reminds me of so many different things in my life. We talked about the divorce. We talked about deaths in my life. I've talked about how things still continue to creep up and hurt you, or you struggle with. And I have to tell you, when he started this tattoo, I'm going to take 45 seconds in, I thought, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? I thought, you got to be kidding me. And, my kids were there, my oldest, and my daughter-in-law was there, and Lee was there, of course, and look, I told hardly anybody. There were very few people who knew I was getting this done, because I was so scared I'd chicken out. I just knew I would. But I have to tell you, for those of you who know me, you know that my favorite flower in the whole world is daisies. Love daisies, and I love the Gabbera daisies. Is that what they're called? The ones that come in all different colors. I know it's a simple flower and it doesn't cost a lot, but whenever Lee just wants to make me smile, he brings me a huge bouquet of daisies because I love them. And I also love them because in doing researches with daisies, they're one of the flowers that when they are trying to bloom, when you see a daisy, it's wow. It's like, all spread out and big, like my hair, remember? Big and spread out. But when they are trying to bloom, probably more so than any other flower, they say that a lot of them never make it. They never make it. They start out and you see the ends and you think, oh, it's going to be really pretty. And some of them never bloom. They stop because they just can't push the rest of the flower out to open. And it's a struggle for this flower, for everything to bloom that comes out. Or sometimes it comes out and it's missing a few petals. So it's a struggle, and there is no daisy that ever is just perfect. There's always some sort of imperfection. And I thought, funny, I love that flower, because that's me. A whole lot of little imperfections. But I've made those imperfections work for me. And then I think about the ones that, when there's one that's struggling, and I think of somebody who makes unit leader. And when you make unit leader, You see AUL, you want that Aeon, but something happens and somebody doesn't do what they're supposed to do, and you let the discouragement get to you. And you're right here, and nothing ever opens further. You just sit there. So this tattoo that I got on my foot, I have one open, beautiful daisy. And then I have another daisy that sits beside it that's struggling to open. And then underneath it I have written SCUL. And then it says underneath it, it's the journey. Onward. Yeah. I keep looking at it now. It's sore and a little swollen. It's the journey. ... Onward. SCUL. Because it reminds me that in order to be that SCUL, you have to remember that when you're here and you're struggling and you're a newbie or you're somebody who's been there a long time, doesn't mean you're not good at it. It doesn't mean you can't be good at it. You need to keep fighting to open. You want to open, you want to open, you want to open. It doesn't matter if you open with imperfections, but you want to bloom. You want to blossom. You want to get your S on, and when you have that, when you've opened up like that daisy, and it's so bright in the center, and here come the leaves, you want to make sure you open, but it's part of your journey. It's the journey. Onward. And you already know, no matter what, but if he had put them words on there, I was going to kick him right in his face, okay, because it hurt. But needless to say, I'm going to put pictures on of it. I'm not quite as limber as I'd like to be, so for me to pick it up and put it in here would not be good. But I want you to see it. And I want you to know that you were all inspirations in this. Because not only does my story tell me something that I have to research every day and have to keep saying, Molly, your journey's not over, girl. You got to keep going. Doesn't matter what happened. You have more to share. This is your journey. It's looking at you and your stories and the feedback that you give me privately and in the group. The ones who I watch consistently that are my mentors, and there are many of them. Some of them you all don't know. But you get to know some people, and you just know when they're having a bad day, and they're kind of kidding about it, but it is what it is. And look, we all have them. I don't think there's a senior out there that doesn't have them. They may not talk about them, but I believe they have them. I guess I'm just one of the dumb ones who doesn't mind sharing. Because I don't want any of you to give up on your dreams, man. And if Avon's supposed to be a part of your dreams, I want you to hold on to it. I want you to know that that's all about your journey. Onward. I can't say it enough. Onward. The journey will take you to good places. And is it going to take you there quickly? Some people get there really quickly. I'm telling you, it wasn't quickly for me because I had a lot of growing to do. And I had a lot of learning to do. And I didn't have every benefit that maybe I should have had, but I had some good ones. But I have found out there's a lot of people out there who didn't have an upline like I did. My upline didn't do the work for me. Make no mistake. And she'll tell you that if she was sitting right here with me. Because she knew I was not going to be successful with them doing the work for me and Lee. And I'm the same way with my team. It's not that I don't help them. It's not that I don't support them. I would look, when they're struggling, I'm right there with them, helping them every step of the way as long as they're working it. But it's up to them to build their business. It's up to me to make sure they know what they need to. So don't give up. If this is what you've chosen to be your vehicle, Avon, and I think it should be. And I think that anybody can do this. I think you just have to have enough patience and enough learning and enough know-how to know that it's all part of the journey. And that if you keep going onward, it's going to happen for you. We're going to keep learning together. I can't wait for the call next week. I'm not even quite sure what we're talking about, but I'm going to tell you, I can't wait. Because knowing that you guys are on the calls and that you're reading the post and you're in the room and you're helping each other, but you're there just to learn and celebrate this business. Bad things, good things all around. Because you know me, there's somebody out there not doing something they should be doing, whether it's corporate, the representatives, whoever. I'm out there saying I get it. But the point is, we can dwell on all the bad stuff all day long, or we can say it, get it out of the way, let's voice it. Let's figure out what we're going to do, again, to get around it. Wait till Avon changes it. That's what it's all about, because we don't want to stay in the place that we're in if we're looking to move onward. So I challenge you, if you're a candidate, get your unit leader on, get your U on. If you are a unit leader and you want your A on, or you're got an AUL and you want to get your E on. And for all you executive unit leaders out there, you're going to find your diamond who is just like you. You are going to find your person who is going to want something in their life as badly as you wanted what you are. They may already be there and you don't know it, because maybe they haven't gone through what they need to realize they have to grab onto this vehicle and they have to make a run for it. So hang in there. And if you haven't found them yet, that's what the name of this game is. You don't quit looking. Everybody is your potential unit leader. Some people are your potential executive unit leaders. And everybody is a potential customer in this business. So we need to be ready to tackle it all. Let's get the sales. Let's get the people on our teams. Let's give people a remarkable opportunity. Give them that gift. And pray for my foot, because it hurts really, really, really bad right now, okay? I'm such a baby. I get it. But I feel like I have immense sunburn on my foot, and I have not even been to Hawaii yet. So I will see you guys next Friday. Love you all. If you're struggling, don't worry. You're not the only one. If you're hurting, don't worry. You're not the only one. If you're not getting support from your family and friends, don't worry. You're not the only one. And if you want to be a huge success with Avon, don't worry. You're not the only one. So until next Friday night, where you will get me live, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to go put up the pictures of this awesome tattoo now, okay? Love you guys. Talk to you later.